Hi, I'm Tom. Welcome back. Today's topic, mini PCs, or what you should look out for when getting a mini PC. Basically, we're doing a before you buy video. Now, mini PCs are a wonderful thing, at least for me. They're like PCs but tiny, or some may not be so tiny, but they're still smaller than regular PCs. Now, there are literal tons of various types and shapes and sizes of mini PCs out there on the interweb, from large brands or manufacturers like Dell, Lenovo, Asus, etc., to manufacturers that the average Joe might not have even heard of. Now, let's go over what you will be expecting from mini PCs, starting from the very external. Now, different mini PCs mean different build qualities. Some shells might use plastic, some might use a different material like, some kind of metal or something. The shell of a mini PC, usually has a branding on it, but it's also where you see the ports and the buttons and all the lights if it has any, and that's important. Now, speaking of ports, every mini PC is again different, not literally when it comes to ports. Some might have USB-C ports while others don't. Some have multiple HDMI ports, while others might only have one. Some might have only USB-C ports for connectivity, while others might have a mixture of USB-A and USB-C ports. Now that should be something to keep in mind if you plan to use multiple monitors or if you have peripherals which only use a specific USB port. Moving on, we're going to get into the guts of mini PCs, and I mean how it accommodates RAM and storage, or what sort of CPU it uses, or if it has its own GPU, or can it use a GPU and all that stuff. More on that later. First up though, we have RAM. Mini PCs actually use RAM sticks made for laptops and not desktops, and on that note, most mini PCs usually have about 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM, usually, and they are in DDR4, usually. Since I think that's most common today, but there definitely are many PCs which use DDR5 RAM, of course, for laptops. Storage-wise, 256 gigabytes of storage is the bare minimum, I think, for me. But I think there will be 512 gigabyte options or even 1 terabyte options or more. Now let's also touch on upgradability. Usually, many PCs have sticks of RAM which you can replace or upgrade, so you can get yourself as much as 32 gigabytes or even 64 gigabytes though. I think that's overkill for a mini PC. In addition to that, many PCs also have upgradable storage devices. Hooray! Some probably, have just one storage slot, but I think having 2 storage slots is more common. Now, we did say we'd touch on the CPU and GPU a little later, and what I meant to say was that we'll touch on that now. Most mini PCs use soldered CPUs, and it's a bit rare for CPUs to be upgradable on mini PCs, but it happens. Upgradable CPUs means they are socketed and can be upgraded down the line with a powerful CPU, or you can downgrade for whatever reason, if maybe you want to use a power-efficient CPU. Take note, however, that socketed CPUs probably will only be on the more expensive mini PCs. Now, as for GPUs, well, it gets even more complicated. The easiest way to quote-unquote add a GPU to a mini PC is to use an eGPU or an external GPU, which might add to a lot more connections and all that, but if you really want to game on a mini PC, no one's stopping you. There are also rare cases in which you can add low-profile, I repeat, low-profile GPUs. They're kind of like GPUs but small, though again it depends on your mini PC's size and they can often be pretty complicated to install. Take for example this Lenovo ThinkCentre mini PC. Now for the most part, however, you'll be using an iGPU or an integrated GPU. It might be from Intel like their UHD graphics or Iris graphics, or if your mini PC uses an AMD CPU, then you might have much better performance for graphically demanding tasks. Still, you can't substitute iGPUs for real GPUs with real power. And on that note, let's get into heat and power. Mini PCs usually don't use a lot of power since that's exactly what they're made and named for, but even then, they still produce some heat and can sometimes be hotter than desktops. Now the thing is, a lot of mini PCs use laptop components, from the RAM to the CPU, and laptop CPUs can get really hot, even hotter than desktops. Some might have problems with cooling and might need a little intervention from you, the end user. That means cleaning and dusting the mini PC, repasting the CPU and all that, though really, for the most part, you don't have to worry about anything because that's just how they are. Now, if I were to recommend a mini PC for general purposes, i.e. gaming, editing, watching videos like this video, make sure you're subscribed by the way, or really, you just want a good mini PC, I have just the thing for you. The GMK Tech M7 Pro. I won't get into the details, but you just need to know that it has a very powerful CPU with a very decent iGPU, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, and 2TB of storage. If you want, you can scan the QR code on screen right now, or just click on the link in the description below, whatever you want to do really. Just make sure you're subscribed to us, it means a lot. Anyhow, I'm Tom, and I hope you're all doing very well. I'll see you all soon.